Hey everybody, it's time for the Grumpy Guy Show. This is Derek talking about episode number 79, but it's not green. Recorded on Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Tonight, we talk about top fans seeing winter return without shutting down. Stick around, it's a good episode. Good evening everybody, welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So, might seem a little rushed tonight, but we're recording very, very late because, life. We'll put it at that. But,
life.
Yeah. Who knows? We may ramble on. Not that we ever do that.
No, never have rambled ever.
No. So what do you say we jump into our first topic here?
All right, what do we got first?
So the first thing we have here is the topic title that I put in is Top Fan Badge.
Mm-hmm.
So as some of you may guess, this really has to do with Facebook. One of our favorite complaints.
The social media that I have, but I don't use.
Yeah. But at any rate, so...
Because I don't like people.
Yeah. So I went on there the other day, and all of a sudden I was scrolling through, and crap comes up, and then I look over at my notifications, and there's this thing that says you've earned a top fan badge for this for some group, and I'm like, I've never even heard of that group. What the fuck? Yeah, a group I'd never heard of. I'm like, okay, some off-roading thing. I'm like, okay, I like to ride off-road, but don't know who the heck this is. So, and I said something to your mother, and she said, yeah, I see those all the time. I just ignore them. I'm like, well, it's the first time I've ever seen it, and I'm not saying I'm not going to ignore it, but I just find it really odd.
You're clearly not ignoring it by talking about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, theoretically, it just
got you there.
Ignored it on the on Facebook, but but it's something to complain about because it's their algorithms making decisions for you as to what you want to see and all that other crap. You don't actually get to control it.
They think they know what you want to see.
Yeah. And suddenly, apparently, I don't have enough friends for them or something like that because suddenly they started, with every fifth or sixth thing in my feed saying, here's some suggested people you may know. I'm like, yeah, even if I do know them, I don't necessarily want them on. It's ridiculous. I have a very small group of friends, most of which I have actually met in person, or I was friends with on Google+, and, we always had a good time. It's a small group intentionally. I don't get it. And a friend of mine suggested, my friend Dave that's been on a couple of times with us. I really need to see if I can get him back on again sometime soon, but he suggested that, I get into a couple of photography groups, so I did. And, some of what ticks me off with that is some of these people in these groups, they're trying to push their group. I liked this one photo because it was a really cool photo. And then all of a sudden, oh, they've invited you to join their page. I'm like, what the hell? And that particular page, I'm like, yeah, okay. I like it because it's all about photography in New York. But at the same time, I don't like it because you get you don't get any kind of advice or anything, which is what I was looking for. I'm looking for somebody to look at my pictures and say, hey, maybe try this instead.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm like, really? Come on, people. So, and then I joined one that is specific for my camera. Again, I've actually gotten some tips out of there surrounding the camera itself, but nothing surrounding how to take better pictures, but the other one is, I mean, it's just ridiculous. If I wanted to join your group, I'd be searching for your group. Anyhow, it's part of the biggest problem there is with Facebook, though. Everybody wants numbers because that's how you get, more money, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I have this very strict rule of I have to have met you in real life to be friends with you on Facebook.
Yeah, the only ones that I haven't are literally the people from Google Plus. Everybody else I've actually met in real life, and some of which I haven't actually seen them in a very long time, but we were pretty good friends in high school. But then you get those people that from high school, and you're like, yeah, I never talked to you then. Why am I going to talk to you now? And I don't get those people, but
Even if I didn't talk to them that much, I'm like, why not?
yeah, but I don't know.
Maybe I can. I may not have been friends with you back then. Maybe I can. Maybe we can get something now.
Yeah, I mean,
get a friendship now.
When you're fairly recent out of high school, so I kind of get that. But these are people that I literally never talked to them in high school, and then for me it's 30 years.
Yeah.
30? Yeah. 35 years.
35 actually.
Yeah. It's been 35 years, and now they're like, "Oh, hey, how about chatting?" No. I mean, I don't know. That's a problem with Facebook, though. It's why I kind of liked Google Plus, because there weren't a whole lot of people on there that I actually knew, and the people that we met or that I met on there, we had a lot of fun. We had. It turns out that most of us were about the same age, and we were just looking to have fun. And the advantage there was on Google Plus over Facebook is your family wasn't there. So, it was a lot of fun because people
I'd probably
weren't
use
concerned.
it if they brought it back.
Yeah, people weren't concerned about what their mother's going to see and say, or anything like that. And you get onto Facebook and people have all of their family in there and everything, and they're very cautious.
My mother's lucky. Her mother will never get Facebook.
Yeah, but
And if I'm correct, you're lucky because you blocked your mother, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a whole nother story. So anyhow.
I can't remember if I blocked her either.
Anyhow.
I might have.
What do you say we jump to the next topic?
Yeah, before we get talking about your mother.
Yeah. So, next on the list, we go back to...
That could be a topic, but let's not.
No. We go back to another one of our favorites.
Oh.
Central New York's most accurate forecast for 11 years in a row.
Uh-huh.
So,
I like where this is going.
So we had the 4 o'clock edition on, and the meteorologist is showing the radar, and there's a very strong line of snow showers, and they were moving slowly south, south and east, and I'm looking at it. And when there's yellows in there, it means that it's very heavy snow. Blues, pretty heavy snow. And a guy, he says, It's just going to be a light snowfall coming through. It'll be out of here by 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
So 6 o'clock comes and goes, no snow. And then it was like 6:30, quarter to 7, something like that. I think it was. I don't know. All of a sudden, I could barely see the telephone pole across the street. I'm like, yeah, light snow, okay. But then the other thing that he said, yeah, I mean, it's obviously going back to the forecast. He said, winter returns. And like,
Yep.
oh, wait a minute. Winter doesn't go away for another
Just
couple
because
of
there's
months.
no snow.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you want to say winter weather returns? Okay. But winter's still here.
Mm-hmm. It never left.
Yeah. Winter, the season has absolutely nothing to do with the weather.
If snow automatically means winter, then most winters start in November.
Yeah, most of them start in November, end in April.
No, most of them start in November, end the next day,
Yeah.
come back in December for like 3 days, then goes away again till January and doesn't go away until almost May.
Yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous, some of the verbiage that these people use. It's like, come on. Seriously, think about what you're going to say. But this is the same one who's he tries to be really animated and look and it's just going to come right through and we're going to boot it out and he swings his foot up. I'm like, you're forecasting,
Also,
dude.
if we're judging seasons based on weather, then spring would be rain, and that means spring just ended.
Yeah, it's going to start up again.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain starting tonight, I think it is. I don't know, but whatever. I haven't seen the forecast since yesterday, so.
I thought it was supposed to snow like till 7 o'clock tomorrow.
I have no idea. And neither do they.
Either way.
Yeah, either way. I mean, it's just. I just found it completely and totally ridiculous. It's going to be really light snow. and then winter returns. What?
Yeah, but I was picking on you about the light snow last night.
Oh, was that last night? Well, then the winter returns was a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, it was just before you left.
Yeah. I don't know.
Either it was right before dinner or right before you left for Buckingham's.
Must have been right before dinner because
Yeah, it wasn't before dinner.
I walked over to the store because it wasn't snowing or anything. So I don't know. Kind of shows you how horrible my brain has been as of late. I can't remember anything. I had some other topic that I meant to put in there, and by the time I got to a place where I could actually put it in, I was like, I didn't even remember that I forgot. It's really sad.
Especially when someone from high school recognizes you.
Yeah. I think it was when I put in that winter returns thing that I was like, oh crap, I forgot something I was going to put in there.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Yeah, well. So what do you say we move on to the really fun topic?
Define really fun.
So this one is about another one of my favorite topics to complain about. Microsoft Windows.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah. So there was there'll actually be a couple of different topics here. I'll have to add it in afterwards because I'm not mentally capable of typing and talking at the same time. So, so anyhow,
It's like with Mom,
yeah,
how she can't do whatever it was and talk at the same time.
yeah. I mean, right now it's just because it's late in the day. I quite often I'm doing doing work while in meetings and paying attention to the meetings. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
the time of the day. But
Ah.
at any rate, so a couple of weeks ago, somebody I work with had a 4-day weekend. You know, she took a couple of days before the weekend because she had some things to do or whatever. But she came back on Monday morning, and we both start really early. We both start at
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock, and she sent me a message. We were chatting through instant message, and she sent me a message that said, "I've had my laptop shut down for 4 days. I come back, I turn it on, and it says, you haven't rebooted in 2 weeks. You need to reboot."
Hmm.
I said, I assume that you're like me and you shut it down every night. She said, yes, I shut it down every single night. So, she said, all right, whatever, I'll reboot. So she rebooted. And then she decided to post something on the IT department's Yammer page, just asking
Mm-hmm.
about it. And apparently it kind of blew up because a lot of people, one person answered fairly quickly
Mm-hmm.
and said that Windows doesn't actually shut down.
Ah.
And I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound right.
Oh,
And then, and then it, you know, I didn't actually see the thread, but she was telling me that it blew up with a lot of them discussing things back and forth, kind of almost arguing with each other about it. And finally, they're putting out a post. I think it was in the company news email that went out earlier today. I didn't look at it, but basically explaining that that Windows doesn't actually shut down, and that in order to actually reset things properly, you have to do a reboot, not a shutdown. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty stupid.
wow.
But I told my friend, I said, well, it's probably so that they can have boot times that are close to what a Chromebook does. Most Chromebooks boot up from a cold boot, meaning they're off, to fully functional in less than a minute. Even with this stupid little trick that Windows tried to play, you never see a Windows machine boot that quickly. it just it just doesn't happen, and so I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah, that's what it's got to be. And then after she sent a link to the article, I was like, you know what, let me go look at this. So I did a quick search, and indeed, Windows 10 and Windows 11 do not shut down on their own. The default setting is to go into a hyper sleep mode.
Hyper sleep mode.
Yes, a hyper sleep mode. And
Mm.
I'm like, all right, that makes a whole lot of sense. What the hell is the deal with that? And right in the article it said, yeah, this is the sole purpose of this is to speed up the boot time of Windows. I'm like, so I was
Hmm.
right. I guessed, and I was completely and totally right. They're just trying to make sure that they boot up quickly. And I'm like, that's just dumb. So
That is dumb.
so this is where it gets to the second part, because there was a link within that article on how to turn this feature off.
Feature.
Yes, feature in quotes, folks. But so I'm going through. I mean, it's real simple. You go into the control panel and then hardware and then display, and it's a few clicks, but in there I'm looking, and because you're in display, it's talking about display, and it says you have your brightness turned all the way up. This is not green. I'm like, it's. I can't remember the exact phrasing, and I couldn't.
Is it green though?
Yeah, I couldn't find it when I was getting ready for the show. Yeah, but it said something along the lines is this isn't green and causes more carbon emissions. I'm like, so
Mm,
wait a minute here. So it's not green for me to have my brightness on the screen turned all the way up,
mm-hmm.
and I have I have the sleep mode shut off as well, which it also
Yep.
said this is not green. And I'm like, okay, so that's not green, but going into hyper sleep mode is
Is
green. Going into hyper sleep mode doesn't use any electricity at all. It's not using the battery whatsoever. I'm like, yeah, you people are on crack. I mean, seriously. Something that makes Windows look better. We're not going to point out that, that's not
that's not
green.
green.
But things that, make it so that it's easier for people to see or, more pleasant for people to see, we're going to point out that that's not green. Come on, Microsoft, pull your head out of your ass. I mean, seriously. It's utterly ridiculous what they've chosen to do. So, simple fix for anybody who is in the situation like I am with my work laptop, where they've got it locked down so I can't change that setting. If you actually want Windows to completely shut down, before you click the shutdown button, hold Shift, click the shutdown button, and then let go of Shift. Supposedly that completely and totally shuts it down. Does it
But it's
really?
not green.
Yeah. Does it really? I don't know. But I saw several articles stating that you could, in fact, do that. And the thing that kills me is, they're leaving these laptops on. Basically, is what it comes down to. Yes, they're in hyper sleep mode, but they're on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I'm like, so you're telling me that my laptop is on as I'm putting it in a backpack to bring it home every time I go in the office. That's stupid. That's a fire hazard. And in fact, since I started using the shift button when I shut it down, I don't have it randomly just start back up. There's been times where it's randomly started up. And it was hilarious because the day before, or not the day before, it was, so I go in the office on Wednesdays. It was the Wednesday before. I put the laptop in the backpack, and then Thursday morning, it was warm. And why was it warm? Because it turned itself back on
Mm-hmm.
in my backpack, because I don't take my backpack out until the next morning when I'm getting ready to start working. I don't need it until the next morning. So it was in there all night with the fan running because it was on. Didn't go into hypersleep mode or anything like that. It was on.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God, this is such a freaking fire hazard.
It is. And it's not green.
No, it's not green. Yeah, well.
But hey, what do we know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, folks, told you it was going to end up being a quick show tonight. I'm sure that you've heard the music starting up in the background kind of early.
And with that speed run being done, good night.
We'll see you.